Alright, boys, it's time to get real again. We're talking real talk today. Now, I tried to do this unscripted yesterday, but that ended up turning this, 3 to 5 minute video into like a 23-minute video of me just blubbering about what I was thinking about. So we're not doing that, we're going by a script today. I just kind of wanted to come from my heart. And I just ended up realizing that that just made it a mess. So, we're scripting this, even though it's a serious topic. Alright, so here's the premise. How I've been doing the past few weeks. We've had a strong launch with a great version. 99% of the feedback I've gotten for 120.5 has been positive. You've kept hearing that, and I keep saying it because it's awesome. If we would have kept up our rate of growth from the first 2 weeks of launch, we would have hit our 100% goal for the players that have joined. If you've been paying attention to that, and I'll throw up a graphic here of, I'll probably put it right here, of me just monitoring how much New Frontier Craft is growing and where I should draw the line of if New Frontier Craft is something that I can sort of continue journeying on or if it's just not worth it. We would have hit our 100% if we would have continued with... what was happening in layman's terms was our player base every week was increasing about 50%. That's crazy. That's what it was doing. But as expected, because I was like, I really don't know if we can keep up that rate of growth, is end up dying down, and now we're growing linearly, which isn't bad. I mean, I'm not doing too much right now. We're growing linearly. So, doesn't look like we're hitting 100% or even 80% on 2 or 60% on any of these goals. This said, time to go for the last goal to keep New Frontier Craft going, and that's Patreon. So know that. I love developing New Frontier Craft again. Like, seeing all the feedback and all the stuff that's been happening these past few weeks of summer, it's been great. And I don't want to just simply give up on New Frontier Craft if we can't hit some goal. It is a passion project again, but it's a costly passion project. It takes up a lot of hours to develop this stuff. I mean, the beta code is not friendly, as Onyx knows. Mostly Bucket. It's not friendly at all. But I can still push through and end up getting stuff done. It just takes a little while. But I've had other ideas of stuff I'd want to develop instead, and it'd be so much easier to develop those other things I've had ideas for. It's just, New Frontier Craft is cool, man. Like, you've heard the podcasts, you've seen the community. We've built an old community, like the old style of community for Minecraft. Like, I love the community, I love you guys, I love the game that we're creating here. But it takes up a lot of time, and it's taken up a decent amount of money. So I need to draw a line somewhere, and that line I'm drawing now is with Patreon, because I'm going to continue monitoring the growth, but unless some big YouTuber comes around and is like, oh, check out New Frontier Craft, I don't think we're hitting these goals anytime soon. So I might be saying, well, Zalja, if you're getting money involved, then it's not really a passion project. Well, I got a response for you, and this I haven't really told anyone. You see, I could have made a lot more money this summer. I've been working for a while I was working part-time at my dad's metal shop, which he owns the business. It's metal steel fabrication. And I was working part-time, so then I would be making money, and at the same time I would be able to stay home and work on New Frontier Craft. The beginning of my summer, I wasn't even working. I told my dad, alright, give me like 3 weeks because I just want to finish 1.8.5 on my mod, and I did. It took 5 weeks though, but we got it done. It's great. But you see, I was working part-time, and the guy who was basically in charge of me, because my dad wasn't in charge of me, he's the president, he just sits in his office and does paperwork. I was out in the metal shop actually doing manual labor, and the guy who was in charge of me wanted to hire me full-time. And in the job I was doing, I was getting $15 an hour. And for you guys that are in America, that's a pretty good job for our age. Most of my friends are normally making $8 or $9 an hour right now, and I'm making $15. And he thought I was such a hard worker that he wanted to hire me full-time. He asked my dad, because he's the boss, dude, could we hire your son full-time? Because, like, he works so much harder than anyone else in our shop area. And I declined because I wanted to work on New Frontier Craft. I could have made so much more money this summer, but I did not because I put faith in New Frontier Craft. With that said, let's actually dive into money. I want to describe to you how I see money, because I mean you're going to be trusting me with your patronage. So money to me, I like money, not because I like buying stuff with money. I'm a minimalist. I like money as a tool. It really fascinates me how money works as a tool. So I see money as value, just direct value. I believe that's what it's supposed to be. So like when a consumer buys a product, it's because they value that product, and because that product is valued, the corporation making that product gets more value and hence is able to make more of that type of product because it's valued, and the consumer also benefits in the end because they get what they value. It's cool. It's made me tempted to take some business courses in college just to see studies of economics, just economics 101 or something, I don't know. And know that money is not a problem for me. Not because I'm a minimalist and I do not tend to spend. I tend to spend most efficiently. So like my mom would come up to me and say, we gotta get you shoes for church, some shoes for running, shoes for you to be at school. And I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna buy one pair of shoes that does all three. That's how I operate. So even if we have a very small budget for New Frontier Craft, I'm gonna use it as efficiently as I can. But I also say money's not a problem for me because, again, I'm working a decent part-time job right now. I'm not working in the metal shop anymore. I'm doing painting, but I'm still working for my dad, and it's still about the same pay. Again, I could be doing full-time stuff, but I'm not because of New Frontier Craft and you guys. Money's not a problem because I have a part-time job, so it's not like I'm saying, please give me money. I can't find a job, I don't know what to do. No, the reason I'm asking for this is so that I have a budget for New Frontier Craft. Now let me tell you guys how much I've spent on New Frontier Craft so far in total. I have spent over $450 in total throughout the entire time of New Frontier Craft. If that doesn't tell you I value New Frontier Craft, I don't know what does. There's some serious benefits of giving New Frontier Craft a budget. Because right now, what's determining of how I can see value in New Frontier Craft is that number, the subscribers, how many people have joined. And I don't want that number to determine how much New Frontier Craft is valued. I want, people who really love New Frontier Craft to determine how much New Frontier Craft is valued. And through that, money will solve that issue. So this would change the value from just how many people I can get for New Frontier Craft to people who are so interested and enthralled by New Frontier Craft that they give support to us. And I believe that's going to be a much better system for New Frontier Craft in its future. Even if we would have hit those goals, I probably would have opened a Patreon because, a budget for New Frontier Craft is going to make New Frontier Craft so much better in different aspects. I'll be able to pay people to come in and code stuff for us that I just don't have the knowledge for. I could have someone come in and make better graphics for Minecraft or something. Imagine that. It's just New Frontier Craft with a budget. I love the idea of it. So that's where I'm going to have to draw the line now, since we are not getting a huge community. For a while, I will not be pulling any money out of the budget for myself. I've said multiple times before that I do wish to make a profit off of New Frontier Craft one day. But that one day I don't think is going to be soon. I still am continuing to invest in this. But here is the line I must draw, because I can't just keep putting a ton of time into New Frontier Craft and it just not give anything back in return. If for some reason no one does a Patreon for New Frontier Craft, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to shut down the main server. I really do not want to continue paying for the main server. I'm at 450 and I just don't want to continue spending more on New Frontier Craft. I will also not be putting as many hours into development. I'll probably totally step back and go into the background and just occasionally, every week, put in a few hours to develop New Frontier Craft. That's not even going to be that bad now, because the Zyga has New Frontier Craft servers, so we still have somewhere we can all go. It's just, I'm paying $10 a month right now to keep the server online, and I just don't want to pay that anymore. And that said, If we hit 10 per month, the server will stay online, but I'll still kind of treat New Frontier Craft. I mean, I'll be in college here soon. I'll treat New Frontier Craft as a hobby again, where I'll only be putting in a few hours per week. I mean, I'll make sure to put in a few hours per week. It'll only be a few hours per week of development. The main server will stay online throughout college. That's how that will work. I know that these lines will be, their deadline, the deadline of the lines will be on September 1st, so right when I'm back in school. So we still have like a month yet. If we get 20 per month, that's when I'll start really trying to put in as many hours as I can, and I probably won't start on this other project that I've been wanting to work on. Like if we're between 10 and 20 per month of me getting patronage, I don't know how else to describe that, of you guys supporting New Frontier Craft, how about that? You know, it'll be a few hours, and the other few hours, I mean, I'm probably going to have a little bit more free time this semester than I did last semester in college, but half the time I'll be doing New Frontier Craft, half the time I'll be working on this new project that I'm calling Project Starlight. Because I don't have a name for what it actually will become yet. But if we get to 20 or over, then I probably won't be starting on Project Starlight. Maybe I'll put in just, you know, maybe an hour or two a week just for fun, so that I'm not just always developing New Frontier Craft, but New Frontier Craft is going to take up 90% of my free time still when it comes to developing. So don't worry, even if we get 0, no one pays anything, and you really like New Frontier Craft, you just, I don't know, can't pay or whatever, or don't want to but still like New Frontier Craft, I mean, it's still going to slowly develop. I'm not just going to simply put it down because we've had so many cool ideas for this. It's just Project Starlight will probably start taking over more of my time while I'm at college, if it's 0, but I really don't expect that to happen. So I should probably describe how the Patreon will actually be set up for New Frontier Craft. There's going to be 2 tiers. One of them will be $2.50. That's going to be called a super subscriber, and what you'll be getting is probably 25 server dollars a month on the main server, and you'll be able to see New Frontier Craft live streams of development. And yes, those are going to become private. I've been doing those recently as public for everyone to see, but after this, unfortunately, most of them are going to become private. I don't want all of them to become private because it would still be cool if, you know, out of like 3 development streams I do, after 3 private ones, I'll do 1 that's public, and that's probably how my rule will go. So that's not like all of the development streams are private, because I know they're pretty cool to watch. You know, they're not necessary, which is why I'm going to have super subscribers be able to see more, but probably once a week you'll still see a public live stream of New Frontier Craft development. The second tier is $5 a month, and that is just a dedicated Patreon. You'll be getting probably 80 server dollars per month on the server, and you'll have a chance. You can turn me down if you want. I've got no problem with that. I know some people don't like the camera, or not really the camera, but the mic. You can be with me in a podcast. You'll have I mean, in these beginning stages of just a small New Frontier Craft community, I'm sure you'll have a guaranteed chance of getting into a podcast with me if you become a dedicated patron. But once we start getting a lot of people, then it'll just be like you have a chance of getting into a podcast with me. And that's the dedicated patron. So to kind of wrap everything all up in one nice thought, here's how I kind of see this whole thing. I need you guys to take a small step for me. To say that with our own money and value, that we want to see New Frontier Craft be continued strongly. You know, I'll still continue it in the background if no one does, because I still love the project, but this is a declaration, even if it's a small step, because we're a small community and only a few people might do a patronage. Only a few people might do a patronage to New Frontier Craft. But still, that's a small step that really tells me that you guys are putting your own value in a New Frontier craft. And with this, I'll make another bigger step. If we, hit the $10 or $20 mark, I'll probably be spending my birthday money on the New Frontier craft to increase its budget, a couple folds. Money that is not hard earned, because I'm still pretty hesitant on spending hard earned money on New Frontier craft. But I'll continue to put in my own budget too. Not only because I'm putting in hours of my time still to develop New Frontier craft, but I will also put in, money I get for free, like birthday money, to also add to the budget. Because New Frontier craft is kind of the game I play in my free time, so, I'd be spending my money on games I play in my free time, so guess it'll be the budget. So all that said, for those of you who love New Frontier craft and wish to contribute and support New Frontier craft, link to the Patreon in the description. But more importantly than all that, I hope to see you on that server.